Good afternoon. Go ahead and open up your math notebooks to the next blank page, the one right after our multiplying and dividing exponents, and go ahead and set that up in Cornell note form. Our topic for today is exponents raised to a power. And then our central question is, how can I raise an exponent to a power? Okay, today's notes will be shorter than yesterday. We've just got one thing that we want to cover, and what we want to talk about is problems that look something like this. If we had 8 squared, but then took that whole thing and raised it to the power of 4. So it's like 8 squared to the 4th power. What we're going to talk about is how to solve problems like those. So you can go ahead and write that down. Then we're going to divide the rest of this up. And what this would look like is if we had, we know 8 squared is 8 times 8. So we'd write 8 times 8, that's 1 time, but we need to do 8 times 8 4 times. So there's 1 8 times 8, 2 8 times 8, 3 8 times 8, and 4 8 times 8. So we've got that written down 4 times. And if we look at this, we can really see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can see that we've really got 8 to the 8th power. So we could write this as 8 to the 8th power, but we could also see that instead of like yesterday where we would add our exponents together or subtract them, we're actually multiplying them because we know 2 times 4 equals 8. So we're going to do 8 to the 8th power. So when we have an exponent raised to a power, we can multiply those exponents, because here when we had 8 squared 4 times, we can see that it's really ending up to be 8 times, which is 2 times 4. And the last thing we're going to write down is what most mathematicians use to explain this law, because this is another law of exponents. But we're going to do x to the m to the nth power. So we're going to do x times x times x times x times x dot 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 m times x times x times x dot 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 m times. So this part right here is m times, because we did x to the m. So this little part in here is m times. Whatever number m is, that's how many you'd have here. But then the whole thing right here, how many times we're going to have these parentheses, is n times. And so what we end up getting is x to the m times n, but mathematicians are too lazy to write that times symbol, so they just put x to the mn, which means the same as x to the m times n. And that wraps up the notebook portion of today's lesson.